Yeah, that last video, it got clipped. So we had to, you know what I'm saying? I had to transition, get to the next point in my own personal mission with work involvement and shit like that. But yeah, as I was saying, bro, this is all just an external expression for that which I know, not just feel or think, but that which I know inside, which stems from a certain thought process, which is I am abundant. You see what I'm saying? So because of the very nature of that, there's certain things that just line up in resonance with that. Like to where it's like, to be honest with you, once you master certain aspects of your ego, certain things that you naturally desire will actually fall in place for you anyways. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't know how to explain it any further than the things that you actively are seeking you in return, but the more that you're seeking them from disgenuine spaces, the more that you actually pushing it further away from you. So like, for example, with the whole abundance mindset, abundance is seeking you the same way you seeking it. But if you stay locked into this idea that like, oh, I gotta go get it, I gotta go chase it, you still manifesting this mindset from a space of deprivation of the thing that you asking for. You see what I'm saying? Like sitting here saying, oh, I gotta go get to the money. I gotta go get to the money. That means that you don't have enough money to begin with, which makes you feel like you still have to go get to it. So it's like you're almost manifesting the cycle. So some of this shit, this outward expression of like that which could be perceived as flashy or whatever the case is, like to be honest with you, bro, I could take all this shit off. You know what I'm saying? I don't need any of this to still feel like I'm abundant, because my sense of abundance comes from something else. My sense of abundance comes from shit. I'm abundant. I'm abundant with my energy. I got enough energy to give. I'm abundant with my love. I got enough love to give to the world. I'm abundant with with the knowledge that I have. I have an abundance of knowledge. I have an abundance of, you know, vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? I have an abundance of insight, an abundance of wisdom, to where the thought process is so deep as to how I feel that I'm abundant in multiple ways, that all of this shit is just a byproduct of being abundant. Like this shit just come to me. You see what I'm saying? Like I come across this shit. This shit just come to me. I ain't really got to try too hard to end up having none of this shit. I find myself in spaces where I have enough money to do some of these things. You know what I'm saying? I find myself in spaces where certain things have been given to me as a gift. Certain things have been found in many areas of life where it's just like I just stumble across this shit, and it just happens to just, you know what I'm saying, fall in my lap. Like it's like a nigga that got the thought process that I always get the girl. Like he think that he always get the girls. He think that he a lady man. He think that he this, that, and the third. So to be honest with you, he ain't really got to try too hard to have none of that shit. And that's the same way I feel about having this abundant mindset. So I say all that to say this. Like I was saying in the first portion of the video, it's about, oh shit, I'm gonna stretch out real quick. It's about manifesting a certain mindset, bro. And the mindset is, you got to understand that this thing that exists within you, it is actively housed within the mind of God, but the mind of God is actively housed within all things itself. So as I was saying, like the very nature of elevating your own level of consciousness and elevating your own soul, that pays itself forward, so to speak, by being something that's like other people could benefit from that. Other people, it's like for example, if you a nigga that's around certain people, right? And this is if they're receptive to that energy, of course, because everything's a case by case scenario. But if you're a nigga that's around certain people and they may not be on a certain type of timing, but you yourself is so locked in, so focused, so dedicated to get a certain thing done for yourself and manifest a certain thing within your own reality, then eventually that energy alone, that way of being alone, how you move, how you speak, how you talk, what you do, that shit rubs off on other people. You see what I'm saying? It's the very nature of the influence, especially if people can find themselves being inspired by what you do. Especially when people feel like what you're doing is a greater reflection of something that is in alignment with the truth more than not. You see what I'm saying? If a motherfucker receptive to that, then they gonna want to fall in line with it. You know what I'm saying? We see this all the time in relationships. Like one partner starts doing something different, and yeah, it may take a little while for the other partner to get hip to it. But if it's something that resonate with the other partner as being, you know what, maybe she right. Maybe we do need to clean up our diet, or maybe he right. Maybe we do need to start going to the gym a little more often, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case is, like if you see it being in alignment with something that resonates with you as being a greater truth, you naturally gonna fall in place with that. And it's the same thing with this right here. Like the more you elevate your own consciousness, you gonna start to magnetize and attract an experience where that is what you see outwardly, because as within, so without. You see what I'm saying? Everything that's going on within you internally will reflect and broadcast itself externally. So let's take that for a second and let's go a little bit back to where I began with this. We're in an illusionary state of being where everything that we see is more or less, it's a reflection of the truth. But to be a reflection of the truth means it's not the true image itself, because remember, a reflection is only but a mirrored image, where it's actually the reverse of it. To an extent, it is the opposite of that. So because we live in a realm where the very nature of this existence is so finite, then that means that which where we come from, the realm of existence where we truly come from, and the root of existence which we all stemmed from, is infinite. We live in a realm where things are finite in its nature. Everything has a time to live and die. And once it's dead, that's the end all be all to it. That's the infinite truth of this finite reality. But in actuality, your soul is infinite. Your soul is the thing that's, you know what I'm saying, ever existent, self-existent, self-sustaining, sustaining itself, self-manifested, manifesting itself, considering the fact that your soul exists within the greater mind of God, but the greater mind of God exists within your own soul. You see what I'm saying? You don't have one without the other per se. Now, in terms of what you need to do for you to come to that realization, that's not for me to determine, because there are many ways to get to it. I'm not sitting up here trying to advertise my own personal way as being the only way. I don't want you getting caught up in the message that I'm delivering to you. The message that I'm delivering to you serves its purpose as being just that. It is simply a message. I am relaying information. I'm not preaching to you to do it exactly the way that I have shown and proved for it to be done. Let me be a reflection of the progress that you yourself have the potential and the capacity to reach. But by no means am I sitting here saying I'm the master of all. By no means am I sitting here saying I'm this divine messianic figure that was sent here with this ultimate purpose to help the world or save others. No, 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 no. I don't want that. I don't seek that. I don't desire that in the slightest. What I would gain much more satisfaction from one motherfucker telling me, hey, I did the work myself and these are the realizations I came to. You see what I'm saying? Because I only know that which I know. And that which I know is relatively small in comparison to all things that could ever be known. You see what I'm saying? I only know what it means to be me. I don't know what it means to be you. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what that means. So humbling my ego rather, to that greater truth, which is my knowledge here in this finite existence. My knowledge here has finite capabilities. Finite capacities? I said capabilities. I said abilities and capacities together. My knowledge here has finite capacity. It's infinite in potential, but it has a finite capacity to it. There's only but so much I can know while I'm here. I'll never really know what it means to be a woman because I wasn't born that way. I was born a man, so I'll never truly know what it means to be a woman. I will only know it through observation, and even then, I'm limited as to what I can observe because I can't examine what the soul goes through and how the soul is made manifest while having the feminine experience. I can understand it to the best of my ability by observing, listening, watching, learning from them. But in truth, it ain't my experience to have, so there's a certain limitation that will always be there. But the nature of our souls, truly, all of our souls are unisex. So really, it don't matter about being masculine or feminine in terms of gender identity here in this physical realm, nigga. Your soul is both. Your soul harbors both aspects of being and becoming, feminine and masculine. That's your soul got both of that. You know what I'm saying? So at some point in time, you can very much tap in, and this is where I started understanding to a certain extent what would make transgenders say, you know what, I think I was born with the wrong gender assignment here in this physical world because my soul feels like it's something of the other or something of the opposite, right? Now, granted, I still firmly believe you chose to be what you chose to be upon coming here. Before you got here, you chose this. You chose this gender assignment. You chose this role. You chose this for yourself. So at the end of the day, going against the divine design of what you are, I don't really agree with that perspective because that's not me. I'm not finna cut my dick off to prove that my soul harbors both aspects, feminine and masculine. I don't think I have to do that. And I'm not judging anybody because, like I said, if it's all God, then that means there's even parts of God's experience where it has to be that unaware of itself. It has to be that ignorant of itself and its own nature to then go through the process of understanding what it is. So, you know, like I said, man, it's all up here. That's the first law of the universe. It's mentalism, bro. It's all up here in your mind. I need you to tap into the power of your mind so that way you can go find the answers for yourself and see what type of realizations you come across, bro. And don't be so caught up on thinking that there's one specific destination or one specific universal answer to the shit, because it's not, bro. The bigger truth is, all of this shit is just a journey anyways. The one thing we are all destined to become in the end, here in this realm, is deceased. And none of us truly know what happens once we transcend, but we can all collectively come together to formulate better understandings of what the more likely possibility could be. Because here's one thing I'll say that we can observe here in this realm. While things have their time, nothing is permanent. That might be a greater truth of the very nature of God. If my body and my existence here, it being a reflection of God, this entire thing being a greater reflection of the true nature of that which is God, if my existence here is if it's impermanent in terms of its state of being, then that means the state of being for the soul is impermanent, not the soul itself, but the various states of being that the soul could experience may be impermanent, and I'll take it a step even further, may be subject to cycles. You see what I'm saying? Here in this third dimension, this just might be the third cycle of the soul that we know of. This might be the part of the soul that has experienced some sort of cyclical understanding of itself to a third degree, to where you start to elevate and go higher and then start to understand different aspects of the cycle that you're not meant to know right here, but you are meant to understand this portion of the experience to say, you know what, this isn't it. This too I must transcend from. This too I must transform out of. Look at this shit as being the cocoon, bruh. That's all that this is. This is the cocoon. We went into this as the caterpillar. This vessel that I'm in is the cocoon. Are you going to emerge as the butterfly or not? That's up to you. Are you going to do the proper work? Are you going to feed your soul that which it needs to be fed to sustain itself once it's time to transition to something greater? Because this ain't the end all be all. And the reason why I brought up the whole impermanence in terms of experience that the soul could go through, that should be able to help you eliminate the fears that are associated with heaven and hell, because that's part of how we keep coming back. I can confidently say part of how we keep coming back to this reality is because we keep thinking with these false ideas that in the end there's one fixed positioning of existence that we will arrive to. And I don't believe that to be the case. I think that at large it is determined upon your own perception, that which you have the capacity to experience in the end. So if you living in hell mentally while you here, you might be manifesting hell spiritually, cosmically once you're gone. If you able to manifest some level of heaven even in this low vibrational state of existence, then that could serve as a benefit to you once you transcend to a different realm. Because it's like, shit, if I could master being in a low vibration where suffrage is almost a guaranteed fact of this reality, at some point in time, you're going to suffer something. That's inescapable here in this reality. With that being said, if you're able to manifest beyond that in thought and say, you know what? I don't suffer that much in reality more than I suffer in my own mind. So with that being said, if I start changing how my mind is willing to look at things, then I can start changing the things that I look at. You could do that in your own mind here in this physical world, even with the limitations that you have. What you think you could do if you transcend this realm and you have more access to a greater power that actually belongs to you to make shit happen faster, more evolved. Bro, like I'm telling you, like we got to start breaking down these baby ass concepts that we got, because that's what's stopping us from reaching our own godhood potential. We still thinking like humans at some point in time, and we got to be willing to go beyond that. Because if you are God truly, then you're not really concerned with human shit. There's a certain level of humanity that you must be in touch with, because you still are grounded here in this reality. We not dumb, deaf, or blind. We know what's going on outside. I'm not saying fear ain't real. What I'm saying is fear ain't a thing that you have to submit to. You see what I'm saying? We're not dumb. We know out there in the world there is danger.